Hi everyone, I'm Lena. Hope you're all doing good and staying safe. In today's video, we'll understand how do we troubleshoot outbound email issues, and we'll also see how to leverage email logs or test deliverability features to troubleshoot the outbound email issues, followed by demo. In the next video, we'll understand how to troubleshoot inbound email issues like email to case, and then how do we make use of email snapshot or automated case user feature to understand the possible cause of delays in inbound email or why the email to case is not working as expected. So if you are a Salesforce admin or part of production support team, I'm hoping this video will be informative to troubleshoot all the Salesforce email issues. Talking about outbound email, any email which triggers from Salesforce application, that could be from Apex or user interface, you can categorize that email as outbound email. One of the common problem statements that we always come across is business users not receiving Salesforce emails. If that is a problem statement, the first thing that you need to check is email logs and then test deliverability. And then we should also see if the issue is because IP address not being whitelisted, or is it because of the email relay misconfiguration. So these could be the possible things that you need to do as an initial check. And this is what we're going to discuss in today's video. I'll probably demonstrate all of these things so it is helpful for you. All right. One important information for your information, MVP 2022 nominations are open and the last date is December 3rd. If you think there is anybody who has helped you, any trailblazer who has helped you in any way, so go ahead and nominate all such trailblazers. And if you're watching this YouTube channel for the very first time, just wanted to brief you on the other videos which was done by Namrata Kadiana. Around 40 plus videos were done by her, and I see from the comments, one common comment I always see is very clear explanation with a very detailed business use case. So if you think her videos are informative, please go ahead and nominate her as Salesforce MVP. You can nominate her or you can nominate any other trailblazer, but keep in mind it will take 10 minutes of your time because this is a questionnaire that you need to fill in for the nominee. Why you think that person should be Salesforce MVP, how that nominee has helped you, what is expertise in terms of generosity, in terms of leadership. So only genuine requests will be considered by Salesforce, and that's how the individuals become Salesforce MVP. Though it is time-taking process, I strongly recommend all of you. If any trailblazer has helped you in any way, please go ahead and nominate them as MVP as a token of appreciation. Yeah, that is all I have with regards to MVP. Now let me go back and get into the demo part. So as I said, the common problem statement is business users not receiving Salesforce email. The first thing what I do is I log into my Salesforce application. From setup, I key in email logs, and then under logs you will see email log files. Just click on this. So this is how you see the string here. And now I requested email log. Let's say suppose you wanted to request an email log for one of the impacted user. Let's say this is the user sfdconestop@gmail.com. This user has not received emails from Salesforce application. So I will key in that email address as this is an impacted email address. If you're unsure about the email address, just look for the date and time. Accordingly, you can drill down as well. And one thing you have to keep in mind, we can only troubleshoot emails only for past 30 days. If there is any email issue, the logs would be captured only for past 30 days. That is something you have to keep in mind. And once you key in the date and time, obviously you check for which date the user did not receive the email time as well. If you are unsure, again, look for look for some interval and accordingly you key in. Right now I'm going with the default values and I just click on submit request. And the notification recipient. So this is my email address and I want Salesforce to send an email once this log is generated. I want to receive an email to this email address. I click on submit request. So once I click on submit request, you would see you would see that in pending email log request. Once the processing is completed, you would see it under email logs and you need to download the zip file. So it will take few minutes. It takes 15 to 30 minutes and sometimes more than that as well based on the log size. So for today's video, I have already downloaded one such file just to make you aware how to read the email logs and how to troubleshoot, because that is the intent of today's video as well. So first thing is date and time. You can validate the date and time and when the user has reported the issue. And other thing is you can check the recipient and sender, who the sender is and who the recipient is. Accordingly, you can verify okay whether the email has been triggered or not. And if it is triggered, what is the mail event type? So this means R, D, and E. So these are three different status right now you see in this log file. R means email is received. D means email is successfully sent, which is delivered. And P is email is permanently failed. So n at gmail.com, if you see this email, this is not a valid email address. I purposely keyed in because I wanted to show you the failure scenario as well. And the reason is also clearly stated that the email account that you try to reach is disabled because it is not a valid email address. So coming back to this log file, date and time with which you can determine if this is the impacted user details. And then mail event tells you what is the mail status, whether it is received or delivered or whether it is permanently failed. Or there is also other status called as T, transient failure, which is nothing but temporary failure. So recipient is to address and sender is from address. And Salesforce.com user, this is the user which is used to trigger the email from Salesforce application. Message ID header, that is always you see for all the emails. And then retry count, you would also see how many times this email was retried in order to send from Salesforce application, whether it is 1 time, 10 times, whatever it is. And also you see how many seconds that particular email was in mail server queue. So that way you also understand, okay, that there was any delay in receiving the email for the recipient. And if there is any email relay configured, you would also see the relay address as well. And with regards to IP addresses, you would also see all those IP addresses in the under the remote host column. So these are important columns here. And what you have to keep in mind is mail event, validate the recipient and sender, date and time, and whatever the error message is, you will always see it here, as you see it for this particular permanent failure row, right? So this is how you need to read your email log. So this is first step. You download the email log and you try to troubleshoot based on email log. And the other thing that you can do is you can make use of test reliability feature. It's nothing but Salesforce sends email from specific IP addresses. And right now I have keyed in my personal email address, and you would see that 16 test messages have been sent to this email address. And this is how you see those 16 email addresses, which means you see all those email addresses has different IP addresses. Dot 232, dot 239, dot 237. These are the 16 different email address. So when 16 emails are received, it doesn't mean that user will receive all the 16. User would just receive only 4. And rest 12 user is not receiving because the IP address is not whitelisted. So the next action item would be you need to work with email administrator of your organization and ensure that the IP address is whitelisted, and that's when user will receive the email. So this is the second step of troubleshooting the outbound email issues, to see if all the emails are being received and if IP addresses is whitelisted by the email administrator team. The maximum emails that would receive is 32. Oh, in this for my org, I see that 16 emails has been triggered. If email relay is configured, you would see only 4 emails is sent to the recipient email address, which is like 4 emails from 4 different IP addresses. Here, 16 emails from 16 different IP addresses. So that is how you can conclude whether issue is with IP address not being whitelisted or if it is due to some other reason. That is something you can conclude from email log and test deliverability. And the other very important one is that you need to check is deliverability. So test deliverability, again, you would find everything from this quick find menu. So that is all about test deliverability, and the other feature is deliverability. Again, all those things you will find everything under email. So this is where deliverability This is how the deliverability screen looks like, and what you have to check is what is the access level. If the access level is set to no access, which means that none of the emails will be sent from Salesforce application. And if it is system email, it means that only system generated email like password reset, user creation emails, all those emails will be generated to the users. And if you're setting the access level to all email, that is when all the emails will be triggered to the users. So make sure that the access level is set to all email. This is the default for production org, but for sandbox org, if you are doing a refresh, I believe the default would be system email, and you have to go back and check the setting and make sure it is set to all email. So this is also one important check, and these are the three important checks that you have to do if user states that I'm not receiving any of the emails from Salesforce. So these are the three important checks that you have to do as a system admin or as a production support engineer. And the other one is email relay. Again, for everything you do, what you do is you key in from your quick find, and that's how you go to that particular screen. Email relay, when email relay is configured, as I said, only 4 emails will be triggered from test deliverability, and also which means only 4 IP addresses needs to be whitelisted from the by the email administrator team. So email relay is nothing but email when it's triggered from Salesforce application to adhere to the compliance. Keeping in mind compliance standpoint, emails will be sent to emails triggered from Salesforce will be routed through the organization's mail server. So that is from compliance standpoint. That is when email relays are configured. So all the emails will be routed through organization's mail server. Not all organizations prefer enabling email relay. You have to check if email relay is enabled or not. Accordingly, you have to troubleshoot. All right. Okay, let me go back to my presentation. I just wanted to quickly do the revision of what we have discussed in the demo. Email logs, as I said, these are the important status. R is received, D is successfully sent, which means delivered, and P is permanent failure, and T is transient, which is temporary failure, transient failure. So these are the 4 status that you need to check in the email log file. Accordingly, you can conclude whether the email is failed, whether it is triggered from Salesforce application, or the email is not even triggered from Salesforce application. And so before it bounces back to the sender, what mail delivery does is it tries to attempt that particular email for up to 24 hours before it bounces back to the sender. With regards to email deliverability settings, as I said, you need to make sure that the email deliverability setting is set to all email. That is when users will receive all the emails. So this is also one important check that you need to do. The other important check that you have to do is IP address to be whitelisted. And that is something you can do that simple test using test deliverability feature. If IP addresses are not whitelisted, or if all the IP addresses are not whitelisted, there is a possibility that users would not receive the emails. So make sure that the IP addresses are whitelisted, and this whitelisting is done by the email administrator team. All they have to do is check the article, Salesforce article. That is where they will see all the IP addresses, and take that from there and whitelist all those IP addresses. So this is what I was discussing earlier as well. Email relay is nothing but emails are sent from customer's email server, whatever is triggered from Salesforce. Just to keep in mind, compliance from compliance standpoint, we configure email release. So as I said, really email is only sent from a certain subset of IP addresses, which in this case, there are 4 IP addresses which are from which email are triggered for email release. So this is all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching all our videos and for all the amazing feedback that you have been sharing on all our videos. That is really good to know that you all are liking the videos and finding it very informative. Thank you so much. So next session will be on inbound email troubleshooting. Stay tuned. Thank you.